begins with knowing what your interests are, what you are passionate about, and then now creating the business brand.
Yes.
That is, if I'm just giving personal advice from what I have experienced so far. Yeah, it begins from knowing your passion, doing the work in your passion, and then now creating the brand out of it. Otherwise, you can create that brand. It is a whole good brand. Like it's really appealing to the eye, but people are not buying it because of who you are as an individual.
If you're authentic, you're coming from a place of truth. You're okay with speaking your truth. You see, it's not like you're going to just bombard someone. You all along you've been speaking well, and then one day you just wake up. No, it comes back to your communication style. The way you communicate in normal cases would actually affect that. And that's why you would realize, since it's coming from a place of truth, you will probably even, not everyone who is authentic is like, it's me and I'm saying no, and no. They can say no in a very polite way. They can still tell this childhood friend, by the way, there's a way this doesn't sit right with me nowadays. There are those tones that like, you see that those balance in communication. So it trickles back to the communication. So we just want to tell you, whether not being authentic doesn't mean you're like the champion. Moving and scattering people around. No, it also trickles down to just your basic communication skills, the way you've been communicating over the recent period. It's just that you would be more confident with that no that you're saying, in however way you're saying it at this moment, because you're so much self-aware and you really believe in whatever belief system that you've created in yourself, and it's attached to your identity.
Yeah, so know your environment as well.
Very
also
true.
The people that you are dealing with. I think now maybe we can go into talking about, because I feel like as we are growing up, them like, okay, if you are intentional about yourself, because some people are just living, if you are intentional,
it's true.
Please don't be an exister.
Have you never been in a position of existence?
I have.
Yeah. So,
but now at least we left that position.
Yeah,
now, at least we are intentional about
live existence faster.
Yeah. So I was saying maybe as we are growing up, we are facing different challenges, and you get to a point where maybe there are some things that are making you not live authentically.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have experienced them, and what would they be?
I don't know. I would say I'm always like very a situational person, but definitely yes, there's some points in life where you feel like it's like I'm losing my authenticity, right? Sometimes you feel like I would say, since we're saying authenticity comes from a place of truth, the way you're saying, sometimes maybe once you what is it called? Once you bend even, let's say, that little bit of your belief system in whichever sphere, it can be your social life, it can be your intellectual life, or just as long as you try and bend that belief system, you would find that you start feeling like you're not feeling authentic. Or I would say maybe your confidence or your belief in whatever you're saying kind of gets watered down. It's like that's concentrated juice. And then when you put water, it gets diluted. That's how it feels. And I would say basically they're situational, but once you've bent any belief system of yours, it can be in your social life. Maybe you don't interact with these people. Okay, I wouldn't say these people. Maybe there are situations that don't align with you, or you're not okay like in very many situations. Or maybe if you're in your physical life and maybe you said your goal is working out and you'll be consistent, and you stop, or you're trying to work out to please people, getting external validation and not coming from within you, then you'll just feel like you're not authentic. You'll just feel like your belief system is watered down and diluted. And I would say that is basically something, if you want to know probably where like your authenticity has started being wavy or shaky, just look at the belief system. Just as Edda has said, the first time you decide to cheat in an exam and say, this once,
And I have
the
an
next time,
opportunity.
the next time it gets to a point your brain gets used to it, to the point that when you'll be going outside there and then you're saying, I do not cheat in exam, saying that I do not cheat in exam, oh yeah, mister, you won't be confident enough to say it, because you know deep within it's a system that you bent the rules, right? Yeah. So basically that's what I would say would really has made me, like, over the years, made me feel like I'm not authentic sometimes, because you don't feel authentic every time. But at least making sure that, as you've said, those core values, those non-negotiables that you have would help you get rooted as you keep filling yourself up and balancing balancing
Balance
it up.
it
So
it came up.
yeah, as you keep refilling your cup, as you keep filling up your spirit and staying more authentic and just keeping building yourself, those core values or those things that you hold so dear would help you get rooted. Yes, even if you're wavy.
I agree 100%. And also maybe something else that I can just add on to that is social media. Social media, everything is in the social media. Everything is in the media. And whatever that we consume in can easily affect us. It might not be easily, because maybe you have done the work and everything, but maybe with time it might affect you, because whatever you continue consuming is what your mind takes in.
Brain food.
Yes. And it is normally like garbage in, garbage out. So
True.
if I continue feeding myself these things on social media that maybe are negative, even if I have done the work, the moment I just try to I get maybe an opportunity, I might be able to follow the social media thing. So I think let's just be very careful on whatever that we are consuming, even in terms of social media, because social media can make you, maybe you see people that you were in high school with are now having kids. Everyone is getting married. And maybe you had told yourself, I will start maybe this matters maybe when I am 26. But now you see, because everyone is
the
now,
pressure becomes too much.
And now you still start feeling like, am I really being authentic to myself? Or maybe there is something that I am missing out, or so I think social media. And also another thing is our mental health. Our mental health can be like, our minds are very funny, because whatever you feed it, there is something that you said. Where your focus
goes, your energy
flows. So if you continue thinking about things that are negative, or things that do not serve you for a very long time, then that is where your energy is going to flow to. And over time, because it's just a matter of time, over time, it's just a matter of the conscious and the subconscious mind. If I know I have to wake up in the morning and then brush my teeth, after brushing my teeth, I comb my hair. The next day I do the same thing. The next day I do the same thing. My mind, it will now not be conscious mind, but it will be now the subconscious mind.
Sure.
And we normally operate, most of the time we are normally operating from the subconscious mind. So the next time that you now want to now wake up, comb your hair, and now brush your teeth, it will be very hard for you. It is the same thing with our minds. So if we continue feeding ourselves positive things, and also just trying to do the work, the inner work that we want to grow ourselves and even to how we communicate to people, the kind of brand that we want to show up, to show out as
Yeah.
ourselves, then I think it might help us. So I think let's try also to take charge of our mental health and what
Yes, true.
we are focusing our
And
minds mostly on.
And that brings us to branding. Like, I feel like authenticity is directly connected to brand, as you
For
had
sure.
initially said. Like, you would want your brand to be a true representation of your authentic self. If your brand is all about wellness, fitness, it must be something that you actually embody. You're not just out there on like, we want this wellness, or we want people to be fit, but you're actually not walking the journey. You're telling people, oh, go
Go,
starve
go and
yourself.
run.
Do not starve yourself.
Do intermittent fasting.
And you're eating back to back.
Yeah.
That's not being authentic, because you want your brand to actually be an extension
Of yourself.
your belief system and yourself. And I think there's a time I was speaking to one mentor, and she was like, she was in this company where she used to work, I think, as a sales market, a salesperson, let's say a marketing manager. And it got to a point where the company was now producing, or rather giving them products that she didn't feel were aligned with her values at that time, or she just didn't believe in them as much. You know, sometimes maybe you can have a skincare product, or you've used a particular product and you've used it, you're confident it actually delivers what you want, and you can easily tell people or market it to people because you're your best customer. So she didn't feel like it was serving that purpose at that time. And she felt like if she continues working there, she's losing her authenticity, because she keeps selling something that she doesn't believe in anymore. So as a result, she decided to get a job now in a different company that where her values, or where she actually now believed in their products again. So this is the same case when it comes to even your personal branding or your company. If you have a business, let it be in line with what you do or what you value as a person, because it's going to be very hard that you value, let's say, fitness. No, let's use a different example. Something I just want a totally different example that would be so clear. Let's say you value just sleeping in the house, of course. No, we want to use a practical example.
Right.
So let's say you just like sleeping in the house. You're totally okay with it. Maybe just completely sleeping gives you money. Just sleep and then you get money.
Being paid must be nice. Can we get those companies?
Please, if there are those companies, look for us.
We can do the job.
So, like you see, maybe you just sleep and you get money. And then here you are starting a company that needs you to be active 24/7. It's like you're jumping, you're everywhere. It's not going to work.
Yeah, it just reminded me of that friend of yours who started the business that she liked going to she used to go to work at 9 and then now when she opened her business she opened a business because she normally went to work at 9.
Yeah.
So she opened her business
that starts
employers begin work at 9.
You report at 9 instead of 8 or 7:30. So it's something that actually you're living in it, you believe in it, so it's going to be easier for you to even extend this same thing in the brand, and for you to even work with it, because there's nothing as bad as really wanting to work on something, but at the back of your mind you're just like, no, I don't believe in that. But you're still pushing out there. You won't even like something about, first of all, clients or the people you meet with, they would always spot that lack of confidence in whatever you're trying to maybe sell or whatever you're trying to push at that moment, because there's always just something that is showing that you're not confident in whatever you're saying or you're doing, and that really has sometimes trickled down to also just not being in line with the belief when you're trying to brand yourself.
Yeah, I think that is a very good point. And I think when we are branding ourselves,
Yeah.
then it begins from, especially like when what you were talking about, local entrepreneurship,
Yes.
and people starting consultancy
Yes,
in
yeah.
I believe when we are, especially like if these are brands that we are creating for
Yes.
ourselves, they have to be aligned.
Yes.
Especially if you are the face of your business. There is no way you can be having a business brand that is opposite. Coming back to my money laundering example.
You love that laundering example.
You
Yeah.
can't be, it's because we are being taught about business ethics right now.
Right now, so
And we are talking a lot about money laundering.
Okay.
Yeah, so just coming, you can't be maybe running a money laundering business and your brand is this well self-composed person.
Yeah, true.
Even maybe you can't even get clients in the money laundering business.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like even us getting clients in our businesses, it begins with who we are,
Yes.
where we are, where we are normally hanging out, who are we hanging out, because
True.
the people that we hang out are our clients. So if my brand is in wellness, and I feel, and I am mostly maybe working out, talking to people, like being in those inspiring environments, then definitely that is where I'm going to get my
True,
clients. So yeah, I think let's just align our brands with
our authenticity.
authentic self. Yeah, and then something else that I wanted to add, it begins with knowing what your interests are, what you are passionate about, and then now creating the business brand.
Yes.
That is, if I'm just giving personal advice from what I have experienced so far. Yeah, it begins from knowing your passion, doing the work in your passion, and then now creating the brand out of it. Otherwise, you can create that brand. It is a whole good brand, like it's really appealing to the eye, but people are not buying it because of who you are as an individual.
Yeah, that is very true. And it just reminded me, we didn't even like mention what a brand is, because people like everyone has a different definition of brand. Yeah.
Do I have a definition of a brand? A brand for me is something visible, something I can see, something I can feel. Okay, it doesn't have to be visible. Something that I can relate with.
Yeah,
So if I'm relating with Gertrude, who am I seeing? What is this? It's like giving a body into something. If it is maybe an idea, giving that idea like a body. Yeah, something like that.
I think I wouldn't agree less, because for me it's just like an intangible impression of your extension. Like it's intangible, but when I see this, I can actually relate to it in a position that I can relate to you. Have you ever seen like those brands that you just look at this and you're like, I feel more comfortable even approaching these people than these people? Yeah. So
True.
just something intangible that expresses your extension is maybe as a person.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking as well in the same line of thought that then when we are creating our personal businesses, then if I'm creating a brand, then it has to be a brand that can speak for itself.
Yes.
That I don't have to be there to explain to you. Now you know.
Yeah. Now you know this is what it is. And I think that brings in the point of a massive transformative purpose. It's basically something, it's like a purpose. It's actually a purpose.
Because a massive transformative purpose.
It's actually a purpose. The difference between the MTP, the massive transformative purpose, and just a purpose
Mhm.
is because, just from the words, massive, transformative.
Massive. Like,
It,
massive.
it's
Transformative.
transformative. It should be something that is really going to create an impact to large masses. You see, like for you, the way you're working on, like people, you're talking to people, whatever you're doing as a life coach is going to bring impact to a lot of people. So having that purpose, it's something that drives you to actually understand that whatever business you're doing is relevant, whatever business you're doing is actually solving a problem, and the problem is just not solving your problem. The way you are saying, after 2 years, what do you do after the problem is done?
Yeah.
It's solving a problem for many people. It's a solution for many people. And it has the power to remain relevant and also transform so many lives, So that's just from the words, massive transformative purpose. And you would find most of the businesses, like you would find even like the Teslas, Google, like these businesses, they have that. And it's normally, sometimes initially I used to call it a trend line. I didn't know it's actually their massive transformative purpose. When you just look at it like this, you actually understand what this company wants to do. When you read it, sometimes it's just a four word sentence or 5 word sentence. You understand what's going to do, what's the impact, like what's
You
the
can
scope,
see it
yeah,
with
what's the
just
scope of
forward.
their impact, in just few words. You see the picture, you see the statement, and at the back of your mind, you don't even need the CEO or the founder to explain to you what the company is about.
Yeah.
So that's I think another thing about branding as well.
You're just speaking about, you don't need a CM. Like, we never even meet those people. you know, we never even meet them,
Yeah,
but
true.
you already know what Google is about.
It's about, yeah.
Yeah, and I think also with branding, we need to put ourselves out there. Let's use the power of social media.
Yes.
Let's push ourselves, because if you have known what your purpose is, and you start working on your purpose, even if it is just known to me, and it does not make sense to anybody else,
Yeah.
push it. Definitely, there is the same we were saying the other day. There is no way God can just put that idea in your mind and
True.
it does not have an impact on one or two people.
Yes.
It might be one or two people, but they are very good deals.
Yeah.
So I think let's put ourselves out there. Let's push ourselves and like just explain to people what we are. Even if you are starting small, explain to people what you are doing, what your business is about.
Yes.
And market yourself.
Market yourself.
Market yourself.
And look like the business itself.
Especially that. Look like the business itself, because it begins with the first impression.
Yes.
How you show up, how you dress, how you talk, how you communicate, how you even interact with people.
Yes.
Like, I was talking to somebody the other day. They were like, the guy is a footballer, and he was telling me, in football, it's like every time that you are playing, or like every time you touch a ball, you get to kick a ball. It's like you are in an interview, because you never know who is around.
Oh yeah.
Because you see, football, you can be pitched by different coaches.
Yes, true.
So you never know. Like, I can't tell if you are a football coach seated next to me.
Yeah, true.
So anytime I kick that ball, like anytime they kick that ball,
It's an
they
interview.
kick it as if somebody is watching and it is an interview. So they kick it so well. So just in case there is somebody out there in the room,
you get
they can,
the job.
Yes. So
that's very powerful.
Present yourself just like that footballer that I was talking about.
Yeah, I think that has really been good, and so far I've learned so many things as well. Really looking like the business itself.
Look like the business itself.
Yeah, because sometimes you really look like the business itself, but they're just those days. They're just those days that you don't feel like it, Yeah, but at least from the conversation I've got to learn, stay just consistent in it, and try to do things from a place of truth and from a place that you get aligned with what you believe in. It's going to be much easier. You won't have so many conflicting thoughts or decisions to make, which sometimes they drift you away from the purpose itself, or from the goal, or from whatever you're trying to achieve. So yes, just stay within that truth and just remain authentic.
Yeah, and I think if we are all working from a place of purpose,
Yeah.
or being authentic with ourselves,
Mhm.
then I think the world will be in a better place.
Yes, yes.
Because if you are shining in your
Mhm.
fitness light, I'm
Mhm.
shining in my wellness light.
Mhm.
Like, we get to compliment each
Yeah,
other
very
so
true,
much.
yes.
I know your strengths, you know my strengths. I know when you correct me, I
Mhm.
can take it positively.
Positively, yeah.
I know when it comes to design, I know I can trust in Gertrude. Like, I don't have to think about it so much, because I know I have, like, it makes life so easily,
Yeah,
and
when you
even
can
so easy
compliment.
to coexist
Yeah,
within
true.
each other's space,
Mhm.
and like, not take criticism as
Mm.
now he doesn't want my point,
Yeah, yeah,
but
true.
from a point of she can see
Yeah.
something else that I
Yeah,
cannot
I
see.
cannot see.
Yeah, so
Which
let's
is a good
listen
thing.
to other people, but also
Exactly.
filter what is important and
What is not important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it has been a good conversation.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and make sure you subscribe and share, and also just give your comments on what authenticity and branding looks like to you, and also what we can cover next in terms of also authentic living and the likes. Yeah.
Yes, and also don't forget to send in any questions that you have. We will be covering all those questions in our wrap segment at the end of every month.
Yes.
So ensure you send in those questions, and let's continue this conversation in that wrap segment.
Yes. So until next time.
Bye bye.